There are two types of text fonts. The first are called serifs. Serifs are small finishing strokes on the end of the main strokes that make up letters and symbols. Serif fonts have traditionally been used for large blocks of text because they are considered easier to read as body copy than sans serif typefaces. The second type is called sans serif. A sans serif typeface is one that doesn't have small finishing strokes at the end of the main strokes. For years, sans serif fonts have been used primarily for headlines. However, many contemporary designers are breaking with tradition and using sans serif fonts for body copy instead. Make a new InDesign document. In that document, make two text boxes, one titled serif and one titled sans serif. In each of those boxes, find 5 examples of fonts that you feel typify that type of font. 5 for serif and 5 for sans serif. What you'll do is click inside each of the boxes and type the name of the font in that. So I'm going to use Times New Roman as my example for a serif font, so I will type Times New Roman in there. Please find 5 other examples for serif and 5 examples for sans serif. There are 5 types of display fonts. The first is decorative. These are ornamental typefaces that are typically designed to be used for display purposes. These fonts are suitable for headlines or decorative letters, but should be avoided for body copy. Because of the sometimes intricate letter forms, using these fonts in all caps can affect readability. Typewriter fonts are designed to resemble the letter forms created by typewriters. Distressed, broken typewriter fonts paired with clean, crisp sans serif fonts provide a nice contrast. Distressed typewriter fonts work better for headlines than for body copy or captions. Engraved or stencil fonts are designed to resemble letter forms created by using a stencil. These fonts are often used in army-themed graphics and displays. There have been many variations on the traditional stencil in recent years. Stencil fonts are best used for graphics and headlines. Script typefaces are based on the varied and fluid strokes created by handwriting. They range from highly regular formal types similar to calligraphy, to looser, more casual scripts resembling handwriting. It's important to remember not to use most scripts in all caps. Symbols is the last type. A dingbat is an ornament, character, or spacer used in typesetting, sometimes more formally known as a printer's ornament or printer's character. The term is used to describe fonts that have symbols and shapes as characters instead of letters. Now add 5 more text boxes, one for decorative, one for typewriter, one for engraved and stencil, one for handwritten, and one for symbols. In each one of those boxes, you should add 3 more fonts that fit in that style. For symbol, you only need to add 2. Each typeface has a distinct look. The light blue lines are here to show how some fonts fit in with an ascender line, mean line, base line, and descender line. A cap line, the mean line, the base line, and the descender line. Different parts of typefaces represent different pieces. For example, here is a serif, a shoulder, a bar, an arm, a stem, a tail, and a counter. When letter spacing becomes so tight that they begin to touch and overlap the other letters, it is recommended to kern or add space. Uneven gaps between letters is also undesirable and requires kerning. When the space between 2 letters is increased or decreased to create more aesthetically pleasing typography, that is called kerning. It is typical for layout designers to carefully kern headlines. So the leading is considered. When it's made smaller, it's considered very tight leading. You need to look at how the letters fit together, because if the top and the bottom, the ascenders and descenders, are overlapping, your leading needs to be fixed. When you are considering selecting a font, using a single font family that comes with an array of widths and weights provides both visual variety and consistency. Consider lighter versions for body copy and captions, and heavier weights for display type and headlines. When pairing fonts, contrast is key. A highly decorative letter form works well with something neutral. A heavy sans serif pairs nicely with a thin serif face. To add impact, keep the tone of your project in mind when selecting fonts. As you select fonts for your project, keep in mind that less is definitely more. Limiting the number of fonts on any project to a maximum of 3 is a good guide. Having too many fonts can distract from the content rather than supporting it.